What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftings MMA picks for UFC Fight Night 171, Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We have a short week here. Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith, good main event. But the rest of the card, not gonna lie, it's not the best, but it's still some fights. I think there are going to be a couple good fights on there, but Saturday was crazy. I loved the fights. It was amazing. My cash lineup hit. We had Pettis, Ferguson, Gaethje, and Werdum, Luque, and Cruz that hit. And then what really saved me was my hedging on Oleinik. Ended up hedging quite a bit on Oleinik because a bunch of question marks with Werdum. I do think Werdum could have very well won, but he just did not look like himself at all. And Oleinik looked like amazing. Like his cardio was good for the first round. He came out here trying to take Werdum's head off. So, but yeah, new week here. We're looking forward to it. It was up to like 5 o'clock watching film on Chase Sherman versus Ike Villanova. So I'm ready. Hopefully you guys are ready too. Before we start the video, if you guys can leave a like, also subscribe if you haven't yet. Really appreciate that. You can also check me out on Patreon. A lot of you guys signed up, so thank you guys for that. When I get like a little bit more people, I'm going to start doing articles as well. So I'm at like 25 people. If I can get to like 30, I'll start doing articles as well. So let's start with the fight. Does not go to decision here. There are only 4 fights that probably will finish here according to the Vegas odds, and Sherman Villanueva is minus 290. Fight does not go to decision. This fight is going to end inside the first 2 rounds, especially with Ike. I was watching film on him last night. He tries to get you out of there in that first round. If he doesn't get you out in the first round, he tries to get you out in that second round. So I think their styles are just somebody's going to get finished for sure. And we've seen Sherman get finished like 5 times before as well. So this fight's first fight of the night. Gonna have to target it. I'm going 100% in on this fight. Someone's getting knocked out. If this fight busts on 11 fight slate, I'll be extremely shocked. So give me 100% on this fight. Really like to target this one. Smith versus Teixeira. This fight's not going 5 rounds as well. I think you get into like the later rounds, like maybe 3rd, 4th round, maybe finishes in the 5th. But I think this fight's going to end inside the distance. Smith has like a 94% finish rate, and yeah, I'll get to it in a little bit, but I do like Smith quite a bit. Rothwell versus St. Preux. Minus 215. Fight does not go to decision. It's heavyweight. We know St. Preux is moving up in weight. I think someone possibly could get knocked out, but I have a feeling this could be like a very slow, boring fight. But like I said, it is heavyweight, and someone could get finished, so I'm going to target it. Arvlovsky versus Lins, minus 170. Fight does not go to decision. Get to it in a little bit, but Arvlovsky's kind of turned it around with his chin. He's been knocked out like once in his past couple fights, and that was against Rosenstruck. So, Lins looks really good. Was watching film on him last night. He looks pretty good. His cardio looks good, and that's pretty good for heavyweight. So, get to that in a little bit. But these are the fights you're going to want to target, especially on an 11-fight slate. Probably going to go very heavy on all these fights. Sherman Villanueva, 100% own on that fight. Smith Teixeira, probably near 100%. Rothwell, St. Preux, I don't know yet. Arvlovsky, Lins, going to have a lot of Lins and probably some Arvlovsky as well. So I'm going to have most of these fights in my lineups, tell you that right now. Core plays, Anthony Smith, 9,000. He's a finisher. He's finished 94% of his fights. I think he can come out here. If he can stop the takedowns from Teixeira early, or even if he gets taken down, just work off your back. Don't give anything up. Don't give a submission up. Just fight smart. He has very, very underrated BJJ. He's a black belt in BJJ as well. I think he can stop the takedowns. He has pretty good takedown defense. And if he does stop those takedowns, if he does get taken down and he works smart off his back, doesn't give up any position, I think he can tire out Teixeira in that first, second round and definitely take over late. But that first and second round definitely scares me. Teixeira could knock him out. We've seen Smith knocked out before, but we've never seen Smith knocked out at 205, the weight class he's at now. So I think Smith's chin's very, very good now. I think ever since he moved up in weight, his chin has absolutely, turned around. So don't really see Teixeira knocking him out. It's possible, but I don't think Teixeira's had a knockout since like 2015, 2016. So I think Smith's all right there. It's just if Teixeira gets him down, Smith gets up his back, it can get rough, especially in that first round when Teixeira is fresh. So, but I do have confidence in Smith's BJJ. We've seen him make so many improvements in his BJJ. So I actually like Smith a lot here at 9,000. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to get a finish. I think this fight is set up pretty good for him. As long as he doesn't get submitted, which I like I said, I think his BJJ is so underrated. I think he'll get the win, and I think he'll probably be on the winning lineup, especially with 11 fights on the slate. So give me Anthony Smith. As for Teixeira, you got to play some. This fight's going to end inside the distance. But I'm thinking maybe like 70-30 Smith Teixeira at the moment. Might put a little bit more on Smith. But don't want to go all in. Never want to go all in MMA. As we saw last week, we're Doom versus Olenek. Doom was in a smash spot. But, Olenek, ruined Doom's plans there with a close decision win. So anything can happen, but I like Smith a lot. Philip Lins, 8,500. Like I said, I was watching film on this kid last night. He is very good. His striking looked good. His cardio looked good. I seen him go 5 rounds. He just looked very good. I seen him get a finish in the 5th round as well. He's a finisher. He finishes just about all his fights. He has been knocked out, I think, once or twice. But the guys facing Arlovsky has been knocked out, a lot more times than that. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but. Yeah, I like Lins. He looks like he has a pretty good chin. He doesn't really get knocked out from one shot. But I do like him at 8,500, especially going against Arlovsky. Arlovsky is, like 41 years old. So I do like Lins. I think he can come out here and get a finish for sure. But if not, I think he can win a decision as well. He has good wrestling, but don't think he's going to go in for any takedowns. I think he has good takedown defense as well. But Arlovsky's probably not going to do for takedowns as well. I think it's going to stay on the feet. Hopefully someone gets knocked out. Hopefully Lins knocks out Arlovsky. As for cash, first of all, I mentioned I'm playing Smith in cash 100%. Don't know if I'm going to stack it. Probably not. But as for cash, might play Lins in cash, but I just think it's kind of dangerous for a heavyweight fight. But yeah, I like Lins. One of my favorite plays. I think there's a lot of upside. We've seen Arlovsky knocked out so many times. His chin has made, his chin has been great lately, but he did get knocked out his last fight. So yeah, give me some Lins at 8,500. Ricky Simone, 8,600. I think Simone's in a really good spot here. I think he has the wrestling advantage, the striking advantage. His chin's very, very bad, but he's facing Ray Borg, who has either, I think it's one or no knockouts in his MMA career. So he's fine there. Ray Borg does have the BJJ advantage, but I think Simone's going to be the bigger guy. Ray Borg is coming up to 145. I think this is a great spot for Ricky Simone. And the odds makers are agreeing with me because the line is shifting in Simone's favor. So 8,600, I think there's takedown upside. I think he can take down Ray Borg. Ray Borg has got taken down by a lot lower level guys than Ricky Simone. I think Ray Borg can get takedowns as well, but I think Simone's takedown defense is pretty good. Just gonna worry me if Simone can, take down Borg. If don't give up your back, Borg is very, very dangerous on the ground. So I'm going to have Borg for that reason. But I just think Simone's in a really, really good spot here. And yeah, like I said, the odds makers are agreeing with me because Simone is the bigger favorite than I think he should be. But the line is swinging in Simone's favor. But yeah, I like Simone. But would not be surprised if, Borg maybe sweeped him on the ground, uses BJJ, because Ray Borg is absolutely crazy on the ground. But I just think Simone come out here and get takedowns, rack up those takedown points, maybe rack up some advances, significant strikes. Maybe he wants to keep the fight on the feet. Maybe he can get a finish on Ray Borg as well. So I like Simone quite a bit. Cash is a little iffy, but I like him at GPPs a lot. CR Eubanks, 9,200. If there was no other fight, if there was another fight on this card, if there was 12 fights, I'd probably fade Eubanks, especially in GPPs. But you got to look up who's up top. You got Hunter Azure. He's 9,100. He's not going to pay off the 9,100 unless he gets a finish, which is very unlikely. You got Marias. He's 8,800. Don't think he's probably going to get a finish against Benitez. Who else you got up there? Just the top range this week is absolutely awful. Anthony Smith probably my favorite up there, but other than that, you got nothing. So, CR Eubanks in a locker in cash. She's have no problem with this matchup. She's fought way better competition than Maras here. This is a step down in competition. We've seen her gas out her last fight. So I think there's a lot of recency bias going on that, she's going to gas out right away. I think she's going to have no problems with Cheesecake Moros here. She's the way, way better fighter. She has the advantage everywhere besides, I'd say, cardio and heart. So I like Eubanks a lot. We've seen her beat Roxanne Modafferi. We've seen her take down Aspen Ladd. We've seen her go to a close decision with Aspen Ladd. So I do like Eubanks here, especially in cash, locking in cash. As for GPP, is going to have some as well because I do think there is some finish upside or just beat down upside. I think she can beat down Moras and rack up takedown points, advances, significant strikes, possibly get a finish, and just I think it's going to be a one-sided fight here. She could score like 85 to 90 points, and that could be enough on the optimal lineup this week because there are going to be not many finishes at all. We've seen last week there are supposed to be a lot of finishes. There weren't many finishes, so this week there's not supposed to be a lot of finishes. So maybe there's a couple finishes and Eubanks scores 90 points. That could be enough to end up on the optimal lineup. So give me Eubanks. Don't know how much I'm going to have of her in GPPs, but locking in cash. All right, GPP plays. Chase Sherman. He's a pretty good play here. First fight of the night. Kind of back and forth on who I'm picking to win here because I was watching Ike Villanova. He looked very good. Then when I went over to watch some film on Chase Sherman, he looked slow. He looked like a zombie. I liked what I saw out of Ike Villanova a lot more than what I saw out of Chase Sherman. But Sherman, he's going to have that UFC experience. He's been in the UFC before. He's going to have the size advantage as well. I want to say maybe the cardio advantage. Both the guys don't have great cardio, but I've seen Sherman go into the later rounds and look just fine. 8,400. If he wins, it's going to be by knockout, probably a second, third round finish. So you got to play Sherman. I don't know how much you're going to have percentage-wise of Sherman yet, but it's going to be a decent amount. Omar Morales, 8,800. We saw him come out against Ma. Everyone thought, including me, he was going to come out here and knock out Ma. He took his time. Landed a couple takedowns, just outclassed Ma, but did not get that finish. Did not score too well there, but he is fighting Gabriel Benitez here. Benitez has been knocked out 2 times in his last couple fights. I think Morales is going to win here. I think he's going to be the bigger fighter. Benitez is moving up in weight. So I think he could possibly get a knockout. I think he can get some takedowns. Benitez does not have the best takedown defense. Don't got to worry about Benitez taking Morales down. Benitez has like 1 takedown in his career or something like that. So I like Morales to win here. It's just, is he going to pay off that 8,800? Probably not without a finish. So maybe he gets a finish here, and that will definitely put him on the optimal lineup. Michael Johnson, 8,000. Another fight I went back and forth on. How can you trust Michael Johnson, especially after his last fight losing against Stevie Ray? You can. But there's going to be no crowd here. I think, he needs to win this fight. If he does not get taken down, I think he wins this fight, but that is saying a lot. Moises does have some good takedowns and good BJJ. But I think Michael Johnson has the by far advantage on the feet. I think he's going to look good here on the feet. As long as he stops those takedowns, I think he's going to win with a chance of a knockout. So more of a GBP play because, he could, take a crap, look awful, or he can look really good. We just don't know with Michael Johnson. He's one of the hardest fighters to call. So, but I do think he has a chance to get a knockout. Drew Dober, 8,300. He's been looking good. I picked him to win against Nasrat Haqparast, and he did it very, very early. I was surprised. I didn't think he'd win that early, but he went out there and knocked him out. I'm not picking him to win here. I do like Hernandez, but if Dober can stop those takedowns, or if he gets taken down, gets back up, if he keeps us on the feet, he has a very, very good chance of getting a knockout here. Hernandez's striking is getting a little overrated in this matchup, underrated in this matchup. But Dober definitely could knock him out. Dober has extremely good power. It's just his wrestling, grappling is a disadvantage, and I think Hernandez is going to take advantage of that in this fight and take him down multiple times, hold him down, and possibly get a submission as well. But yeah, you got to play some Dober just in case he gets that knockout. Ovince Preux, 8,700. This fight is probably the hardest fight to call on the card, or definitely one of the hardest, because he is moving up in a weight class to heavyweight, which is a pretty big transition here for him. He's going to be the smaller guy. Don't really see him being able to take down Rothwell. Rothwell has pretty good BJJ himself, surprisingly. And is he going to knock out Rothwell? Is his power going to translate to heavyweight? Probably not, and he's not really much of a knockout guy either. And Rothwell has a chin of steel, so don't think he's going to knock out Rothwell. Don't think he's going to submit Rothwell. How does he win? Does he win a decision? He is the faster guy. Does he outpoint Rothwell? That's very well could happen, but is that going to score? Is that going to pay off the 8,800? I don't really think so. So more of a GPP play for me. It's a heavyweight. I actually am picking Rothwell to win because I see the path to victory for Ovince St. Preux, and whenever I try to play out in my head, I just see Rothwell knocking him out. So give me Rothwell, even though he's so bad and washed up. But it is heavyweight, and I do think he can take advantage of Ovince St. Preux up here at that heavyweight level. All right, live dogs. Alexander Hernandez, 7,900. I think he can get takedowns here. As long as he does not get knocked out, I think he'll win this fight. I think he can get multiple takedowns, rack him up. I don't know how much he's going to score, but I do think he can get as much takedowns as he wants. If Dober gets back up, he can put him right back down, wear out Dober, get him out of that first round where Dober's most dangerous. I don't think Dober has a finish outside the first round as well. So if he gets out of that first round, I think he'll be in the clear. He's getting very underrated in his striking here. People are acting like if Hernandez stands with Dober, Hernandez is going to get knocked out right away, and that may happen, but I just don't see it. Hernandez has a lot of power himself as well, so I like Hernandez at 7,900. Ben Rothwell, 7,500. I like Rothwell quite a bit here just because it's heavyweight, and I do think he can get a finish here on Ovince St. Preux. He's going to hit way harder, be the way bigger guy. Don't think he's going to get taken down or anything. Ike Villanueva, 7,800. First fight of the night. You're going to have to target this. I think he's the faster guy. He has a lot of power, finishes most of his fights. I think he's the more durable guy out of him and Sherman. We've seen Sherman knocked out 5 times, Villanueva 1 or 2. So he has a better chin. He is really tough, but he does kind of gas out in those later rounds. Ray Borg, 7,600. First of all, I like that price. Second of all, if he can, do some work on the ground, I just think it's going to be so hard with being the smaller guy against Simone. Don't really know if he'll get many takedowns, but I do think he has the chance to do some work on the ground. But, he's not going to get a finish unless it's a submission, which I don't really see that happening because Ronnie Yaya didn't submit Ricky Simone. But, I like Borg a little bit as a GPP play, but I don't know how much I'm going to have of him. Andrei Arlovsky, 7,700. It's heavyweight. He very well can come out here and knock out Lin. So, but Arlovsky doesn't have a knockout since 2015, 2016. So that's kind of worrisome. And he is 41 at the end of his career. Don't know how good he'll be able to do in this fight. Pump plays, Glover Teixeira, 7,200. A fight that's going to end inside the distance. He could get an early finish, whether it be a knockout or submission. I just don't think it's going to happen. But we've seen last week when Oleinik won, nobody thought that was going to happen, and it did. So got to play some Teixeira. Carl Roberson, 7,300. I think this fight should be a pick'em, and just for that reason, I think there's so much value on the 7,300. He has the striking advantage, the power advantage. As long as he does not get taken down, he can win this fight, but that is saying a lot. He has improved his BJJ a lot, but I just think he's at a disadvantage in the wrestling, grappling area. So if Vettori gets him down, Vettori is going to win a boring decision. But if Roberson can keep it standing, I think Roberson can win a decision or possibly knockout. Not in love with the play, but I do think there's so much value on that price. Fades, Marvin Vettori. He has no finishes in the UFC. Doesn't really have a DraftKings friendly style. And then Sarah Moras, I just think is going to get dominated outside a lucky armbar out of nowhere, but that's probably not going to happen. All right, guys, that's about it. Become a member of my Patreon and receive full access to my model, customizable optimizer, premium projections, GPP lineup percentages, premium breakdown and strategy video, example cash lineup, and more. Access to my Slack chat, all that. All right, guys, that's about it. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe if you haven't yet. Trying to get 2,000 subscribers. So if we can get that, that'd be awesome. Going to be putting out some more content for Saturday's card. Going to start researching that as soon as I get all these videos out. Make sure you guys check out my predictions video where I go more in depth of the predictions itself rather than a DraftKings perspective. My betting video, and if you guys play FanDuel as well. Good luck. I'm really excited for this card, and hopefully you can win some money. There's going to be a huge advantage because nobody's going to know who Chase Sherman is. Nobody's going to know who Ike Villanueva is. And nobody knows these fighters, so I spent the time last night. It was up to 5 or 6 in the morning researching these fights, watching film, looking over the stats and everything. So I'm ready. Hopefully you guys are ready too and ready to win some money, and good luck.